Well, I attended the monetary evaluation, accountability and learning, MIL 8 training, which started on the 9th of May 2022. Well, I think the timing of the course was couldn't have been better because we just finished our strategy for the next 5 years. So we needed a framework now specifically for M&E to track the strategy itself as well as the outcomes contained in the strategy. So this course came in very handy at the right time because our next financial year starts in September this year, which means now we had a draft of the MIL framework, and now I think with the course, it came now to put things into context as well as some of the concepts that I learned throughout the course. So I think the main reason I got it was so that I can complement what we have in our framework going forward. I think previously, through this course, for me, monetary evaluation has always been the M&E part of it. And then with this course, it brought another dimension, another perspective of accountability and learning. And I think previously in my work, I wasn't that consciously aware of the accountability and the learning part of it, even though I might have been doing it. So with this course now, that comes that concept in which I now have to be intentional in terms of how I account as well as lessons learned, because it's not only the MIL framework, it's also lessons learned as well as part of the organization. So every day, how do you get better? How do you improve? How do you make things that move in a systematic direction? So I think for me, really, was those two concepts that broaden my scope in terms of M&E. Oh, the webinars. I think for me, the webinars, because with an online course, you study on your own, and then you have a bit of questions and follow-up throughs, but on your own space, you are unable to digest some of the concepts. So with the webinar, when we discuss, you get further explanation. Also, it was a diverse group of individuals from different countries. So you learn how other people do the IMA rather, in given different contexts of the country, of the health system, even of the continent. And then you hear from the experts as well as how to better your IMA. So it was really a very broadening, inclusive, diverse group that you learn from experiences other than the theory contained in the course itself. So for me, the webinars they stood out, but as well the learning journal, because for adult learning, you sometimes skim through the content, but once you put down in terms of what you learn, you realize, oh, this is what I learned. This is something this is what I think I should learn in future. So you reflect in every module, which gives you now a perspective to see how you fare in terms of progress. Also, the gaps that you may need to do in terms of reaching the goals of my own professional development, as well as to help the organization move forward in terms of framing the framework for international standards, so that we're also able to have the same language across the world, because now the world is just one village nowadays. Yeah, because now I've learned many concepts, and like I said previously, just to put this into perspective, but also I learned that in my day-to-day work, when I reflect on the module itself, it's beyond the numbers, just seeing the numbers and other stuff. It's beyond that. It's systematic in terms of how European stakeholders, how influential are the stakeholders, the framework, the logic models, because for an NGO like ours, we do different projects. So now you try to find which model is suitable in the framework for a particular project that you are doing. So you put together a diverse knowledge of frameworks and models. And for our main framework, we're using the theory of change. Now I've learned the result framework and the logic framework. So it really gives that perspective, which means in my day-to-day job now I have to be aware and conscious of those modules, how I'm going to measure them. But I think what really helped me is the baselines, because I think I wasn't that keen on or intentional about baselines, which really for M&E is very crucial, because you need to know where you are from, where you are heading. And I started doing that because, like I said, our strategy is for the 5 years. So it means for the next 5 years, I need to be tracking those milestones, and how for me to be informed of progress in terms of milestone, it's the baselines that we do have. So for me, really, that was something that I think during the course and post the course is something that I was applying in my day-to-day jobs. And as well as prioritizing the qualitative indicators, because like I said, it's beyond the numbers. Most of the time, people are excited to report the numbers, but for me now, I start to see the meaning behind the numbers. What does this tell in terms of subjective data, in terms of the qualitative data? So now they complement each other, because we have the numbers. What are the numbers saying? What are they telling? What are the issues that are coming out? Because when working with youth, there are always issues coming out. So they don't come out through the numbers, but they come from their stories, whether it's successful or not. But that's how you put it into perspective to say, let's combine the quantitative and qualitative and see what is emerging, and that in that way it informs our programming rather than the other way around. So you program looking at the data, both quantitative and qualitative. I think for me, that's something that I'm currently in play over and above other concepts that I've learned that I have not mentioned here. Because remember, IMA is a living document, it evolves. So as time goes on, I might look back and see, what concept can I borrow on from the framework as well. Yeah, I think for the organization, I think the program director, because remember, with M&E programs, rather they develop programs, and M&E develops the meal plate. So they also need to understand how this goes hand in hand with planning, because of course they'll plan, but they also have to be mindful of targets, the smart objective, the smart targets, so that they're able also to track, even when the money is not there, at least they have an idea what's happening. So for me, within the organization, I've already recommended to the program manager and the M&E officers that they also have a first-hand information of M&E rather than meal, so that when they do their planning for other activities, they have that a bit of that at the back of their mind. But beyond the professional capacity, I have colleagues that work in other organizations, the upcoming M&E officers, data managers. So I think that those are people also have reached out so that they could be on the lookout for this course. Even beyond that, family and friends who appear to be keen on mountain evaluation, because as much as you gain knowledge professionally, it's also helpful at a personal level to do M&E in our both academic, professional, as well as personal life. So I think, honestly, just everyone who I think has a keen interest, whether it is within organization, outside the organization,